What's folks, welcome to Oak Swamp and another episode of the Austin Crosley. So after the excitement of the drive last week, this week I caught up on a few jobs. I quietened the Shrew down by adding a bit of an exhaust. I have an SU carb issue which I sort out, which is quite interesting. Then I head backwards to the rear shock absorber and get that finished. I get the windscreen frame done and I make it out of brass, and I gotta say, it's looking cool. And then I finish off where I am now, in the woods, doing a little bit of testing, trying out the brakes and stuff. So this is what happened. Monday. I'm at a good place now. I can start homing in a little bit. I've made myself a mental list of jobs that are going to need sorted before this can be driven with any conviction. The first job I'm going to attack this morning, until I put the amels on, which isn't going to be just yet. I want to get this all shaken down a little bit first before I start mixing with the tune again. I'm going to get this set up tuned as it is as best I can, but to do that I need to put a full exhaust on. Sass is coming. Hello Sass.
I just wanted to let you know I bought a cello.
You bought a cello? Yeah. Did you? You can see the exhaust just comes straight out the side there and it bangs straight into the drag link, so you can see why it was noisy. So I'm going to change that now, and for the minute I'm going to just run it around being quiet, because you get to hear everything a bit better and I can identify where our stuff's coming from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it from there and I'm going to bring it down here and then into this silencer and then just poke it out the side there. The outlet of the exhaust I cut down at a bit of an angle. I've cut a bit of a bend up, and now I'm just going to, I know it's not going to be a performance manifold, but I'm just going to weld that onto there with its nice sharp edges inside. But what it'll do, it'll just give me something that I can use for the time being. What I did was put a little groove in both of these, just so I got them in exactly the right place. Okay, so I lopped that off there and just welded a bit of bend round. This is just sat in there at the moment because it's a bit small, but it sits in. And then I've run a bit of a shelf up here to there, but it's all nice and solid in there. You've got to understand this is very temporary. Right, and that little escapade, this exhaust system kind of works. I'm kind of happy with that. What the problem is with this slide, look, it's really slow and it's getting caught up. It's got oil in it. What's happening is you rev it up and it revs up alright, but then it stays open a little bit and it kills the engine because it's getting too much air. Mr. Brackett gave me this carb. He renovated it on this show. Everything looks clean. I didn't expect it to be any different because Chris has done that. Let's see what this rolls like. That's got it. So the spring was upside down, so it was acting way too much. Oh, there you go, and a sticky SU. It's made it run much made it run much better now. Tuesday, yeah, it's still raining. Leaf, I'm going to catch up on a few jobs on him. It's only little stuff. I'm slowly working my way through this. Just getting little jobs done here and there. It looks good where that rust has all run down there, doesn't it? And all this coming out of here. It's starting to become one thing now, isn't it? Right, front wheels off. I'm doing a little bit of work up there. One of the front spacers down there, I just wasn't sitting flush, so I'm having to die grind a bit out. Carry on back with this shock, and that's basically what I've got to do with it. Here's a bit of this 3mm that's got a lovely bend in it already, and I've just got to cut that piece out there. Okay, there's the first hit. Now I've got to make some cheeks to go up this side, and there, go from the bottom to there. Just looking at this sat there, and to me it's starting to look right. All the lines are starting to come in. I think the very, very most important thing about building a car is getting the proportion right. I didn't copy anything for this car, I just started with the chassis and worked on it. Now when I looked at the chassis, I immediately saw, because of this front end, lifting it up makes it lows, and the body, it just suits it, doesn't it? It's got to be upright, it's got to be quite high. I didn't want to do an alley body. To be honest, making stuff out of alley for me, unless I can find some like I did for the Rat. Right, anyway, I was cutting this out, so I need 2 of those. Okay, these are little fellas, and these will sit onto the edge of there. That looks alright, doesn't it? I'll get some holes through it. I'm going to tack it on there for a minute. But you can see it just curls round. I'm just going to tack it on because I tend to do stuff by eye. You know, I haven't measured down, just doing it off of this and off of that. What I like to do is just tack it in place and then leave it for a while. And then I can look at it for a day or so and see if it's right or wrong. So as always, I'm going to get holy with this. Wednesday. Old Hayes waiting patiently. We are really quite far along on this project, so when the weather does get a bit more like this, I'm going to be jumping straight on him so I can get the shrew on the back. What was I doing? I'm going to put a little bit of a curve on this. I just got to make some little legs up for here now. Right, there's the first one. Oh, that's kind of where they're going to sit in there. I'll get these welded up, I'll just tack them up for the minute. Yeah, that's alright. I'll just curve that off, that'll be welded right round there, but when the seat goes in, you see it just sort of adds that little extra bit. I know it's only silly, but you know what I mean. Nice to see my video do well last week. Lovely to see a load of new subscribers coming in. Welcome aboard, lads. We got a lot of guys from America, Canada, Oz, New Zealand. Also massive thanks for everyone who gave me a hype last week. I'm not sure what they do, but it seemed they helped, and I was feeling quite hyped up by the end of the week. Right, there's no holding it off. I've got to have a good hunt for the windscreen. The windscreen's in and amongst this lot somewhere. So this is an old Austin, I think it's an Austin screen. I cut it up for this very job. And what I'm going to do is shorten it down like that. Hello, Crow. First thing I'm going to do is, I think, is get this cut down and work out some way of joining it together again. Kind of like what it's got to look like. Now where this is brass, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get another bit of brass or copper and put it over the top with a couple of flat rivets, and then solder that piece all together with a brass latch. I'm going to have a bit of E because he's got a good bit of width on him. It's coming. Now look, that's the grit I'm using, which isn't very much, but chrome is really hard, isn't it? But I'm going to keep going until I get down to some brass, and then I'm going to polish it, and then it'll be ideal for soldering. Well, that's the first one. I polished this end up, and I'm going to polish this up in a minute, and that is going to sit on the front there, and another one on the back. So I'm just going to get the other one ready. It's all getting a bit small for my eyes. So I'm going to be using some of these little copper rivets. This is kind of the idea. Then I sweat the whole lot of it, including the pins. Should look alright, it looks better in a bit of brass, doesn't it? You've got to do the same on the back, and then I can sweat it up. You know, I've just assembled it, and that's ready to sweat together now, but that looks quite cool, doesn't it? Quite happy with that. Now I've got to make the top bits. I'll wait till tomorrow to sweat it on. Yeah, rain again. Right, I'm cleaning all this up and I'm going to solder it up. And I'm going to be doing it the same way as I solder plumbing, because that's what I know. I've got some baker's fluid here, but I can't see the writing, so I've degreased it and I cleaned it right up, got rid of all the nasties off of it. And I'm going to be using some Laco on here, give it a smear of flux, flux in there. All the back of this wants a bit, it's all loving it, look at it. I'm going to let that cool down. These sides are tricky on this because they finish quite abruptly. I had the same problem on my Austin Ruby hot rod, and what we ended up doing, my pal did it, Phil, he slanted them back so you had the rake on them. I think I've got to keep with it as it is and just try and defer from it, you know, trying to take your eye off it by making it into something that looks useful. There we go, that looks kind of cool. It looks aged as well, doesn't it? I wonder if it fits in. Take this buck out there, you can see. Yeah. Needed some more brass, so I've just whipped this old lock up. I didn't have a key for it anyway, but that cut in half would be just what I'm looking for. Okay, so I chopped that bit of a lock in half. I've cut the return off, and then I'll give it a bit of shape and put a hole in it. And I'm just about to do this one. And what that does, running down the edge, can you see that profile at the top here? So I've sliced it back a bit. Now this piece slides under and we're sitting like that. I'm also going to put a pin in it, put another one of those copper rivets in it or two, and then that, hold it like that, and that's going to be our pivot. I'll get it made up, and then I've got to try and suss out how to do it on the bulkhead. I'm going to just solder these little chums on the end. I've been doing plumbing for quite a few years while I was building, so I've learnt to trust this. I put some quite big lumps of pipework in, and I'm figuring this is going to be alright. But you can probably tell I'm just making this up as I go along today. I didn't have a set plan today. I'm kind of running this in by eye, really. Now I've got to make that fit onto that, but to do that I've got to get a bit choppy because it's quite narrow and it comes back onto this. So what I'm going to have to do is cut these off, tap them back in and weld them down so this bit goes straight flat. Right, this is kind of where I'm going with it, so I'll drill a hole through there now. Step one, we have an opening screen. Works quite well, that does there. I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do this. I think what I'm going to do, now I know it works alright, is put a tube in here for this bolt to run through. So I need to cut it out. I've cut a couple of tubes down and I'm just getting them set up in here. Looks pretty cool with these wings on, doesn't it? That just go up like that. Right, before I start working on these tops, I'm going to slim this down a bit in here because you've got this big lump here. I think I'm going to cut that down there and just chamfer it out and then just weld right down the edge of it and just finish it off. So that looks better, doesn't it? Couple of tacks down there just to hold it together, but I'll weld that up tomorrow. Get it welded up and clean that up, and then I'm going to finish these tops. Friday. So I just whipped down to see Tom and Darryl and picked up my fuel tank. Here's my little tank. I'm thinking about changing it to be slightly different, so I'm going to take it home and play with it, because I'm actually slowed down on this now. It's kind of nice. Oh, right. You know, just fiddling. Daz has just shown me his new welding helmet, and look at this. It's got bloody side windows. Look at that. And that makes a lot of difference
And then it's got like a grind mode on the side, so you can
Cool.
flick and hold that.
How much was that?
It's about 100 quid or something like that.
100 quid. And
Yeah.
where'd you get that from? Davies?
Yeah, from Davies, yeah. Right, and
It
I've got-
reminds me of them wood burners where they have the side windows on.
It's quite good though, when you're like welding, it's like you can see everything around you.
Well, I keep walking into things, I don't know about you. You do though, don't you?
Yeah.
So having them side windows, good eh?
Yeah.
Go and see our man Andy at RH David. I'm sure he's got a deal on for a lovely oak swampers. That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
This one's getting lots of lighting, isn't it?
Lots of lighting.
Look at the size of it. It's nearly as tall as that Buick up on the ramp, isn't it?
You wouldn't do any engine work.
Oh my word. Oh, that's ridiculous, isn't it? You've always got a Corvette in here for some reason.
Yeah, we literally got rid of the yellow one on the Sunday, and
Yeah.
then the Monday that one turned up.
Well, I better go home. Right, I'll see you later, Broshki.
See you later.
Just looking at this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come halfway down that tube, just below it, and cut it off. And then I'll put a little plate at the back. And I'll do the same at the front. So it goes along, up, over, and then back down again. And that's pretty cool, doesn't it? It looks beat out. I've got to get the rest of the polish off it. This side's still a bit chromy, but I'll get a little sand around here and just make it look older. I really like that front though. Someone was saying about using the dirty hands for making gaskets. Do the same thing for templates as well. Just do some little templates and I'm going to cut them out of 2mm just so they hold their ground and I can weld to them. Right, there we go. That's the first hit. And I'm going to get Daryl to TIG this later. What I'm going to do now is weld this up. Alright, now I've got to grind these back. Chasing holes, nothing solid there really. Tidy it up a bit, I'll give it a bit more of a clean up later and that. I might put a bit of paint on that, just a little brisk bit of black. Okay, so I just give it a bit of flat spray to give you the bit of more of an idea. And that looks pretty good now, doesn't it? I'm happy with that. Yeah. And that cost me absolutely nothing at all. I did consider putting perspex in this, but nah, it's got to be glass. I'm going to put a bit of laminate in there. Bit of laminate, get the edge polished. So I think tomorrow, despite it still pouring down out there, I think it's going to be sunny tomorrow. I'm going to connect it all up again, do a bit of testing tomorrow. Right, bolted everything back in and now I'm going to give it a good blowout with the airline because there's lots of grinding everywhere. Right, I'll plumb this back in again. Next week I'm going to take this water pump off, just make it good again and renew this little piece here as well because it looks a bit tired. See how well the diff works in this.
Ain't it hard to settle down? Now ain't it hard to settle down? When in the dark you hear that freeway sound, and every morning in the sun, yeah, every morning in the sun. Well, it's every frozen chimney like a gun. So Indigo City, why do you get down? Indigo City kicking me to the ground.
Right, the floor runner. down. That's why the brakes were sticking. It's holding temperature, which is very surprising. I've used 1 tank of fuel already.
Indigo City, why do you get me down? Indigo City, kicking me to the ground.
Got it in the 3rd gear and it wants to fly. Brakes are working. Brakes are working all round. So next time, I'm going to finish this radiator grill. I'm going to finish this drag link. I'm going to put this windscreen in, get the glass cut for that, and most importantly, I'm going to make some chain guards. But if you want to see me do any of that, you're going to have to tune in next time. So if you're not subscribed at this point, make sure you bang the old subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment and a like and a hype if you would. If you want to support the channel, pop over to my shop and get yourself a lovely frog oil t-shirt. Anyway, massive thanks for watching, and I will catch you dudes next time. Hang loose.